Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, there it is. These Democrat thugs, these professional rioters, have once again come out of the woodworks in mass. And it's exactly as I predicted roughly a month ago, right when all that Tesla terrorism kicked off. I said what we were seeing was just going to be the tip of the iceberg. I told you guys to get ready for another Summer of Love 2.0. And of course, it was an easy prediction to make because all of this chaos has a very specific political goal. It's all organized from the very tippy top and totally funded. And now lo and behold, summer basically just started, and already the professional rioters are back in action. The same left-wing agitators who spent 2020 burning down cities, attacking police and pretending that it was all for justice. Well, they're all back to their old tricks as Portland descends into fiery chaos again. This is exactly what the Democrat Party does, especially as we're moving into an election cycle. They unleash chaos in the streets to destabilize the country and then try to gaslight the people into thinking it's Donald Trump's fault. The militant wing of the Democrat Party has once again been unleashed. And of course, it's no surprise that Portland is the epicenter. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so basically exactly as I stated in the intro, Portland plunges into chaos again as the Antifa Black Bloc mob takes to the streets. Kind of an interesting scene considering CNN has been telling us pretty much nonstop for the last couple of weeks that all of these protests were mostly peaceful.
A study from the Media Research Center shows that from June 11th to the 12th, CNN and MSNBC personalities insisted the anti-ICE demonstrations were peaceful 211 times.
Say it one more time.
211 times they were peaceful.
Nothing to see here, I guess. Just videos showing so-called peaceful protesters launching explosives and attempting to storm a federal building. I wasn't aware that peaceful protesters use these kinds of militant tactics. Yeah, these are very obviously not peaceful protests, but rather yet again violent leftist insurrection. But unfortunately for the leftist mob, their efforts got thwarted quite quickly, and this ICE facility that they were attempting to storm got locked up and boarded up real quick, and almost immediately the scene turned quite pathetic, with basically a small crowd of these wannabe revolutionaries just standing outside the fence, kinda just whining. And with many other Antifa goons finding themselves in a FAFO situation as they end up in federal custody.
I think they've apprehended.
In other words, just like always, the revolution crowd once again accomplished absolutely nothing. They failed to shut down anything, failed to get any traction, and once again proved that their entire movement is basically just a crybaby tantrum. And you know, that I think is the real story here. It's not even about the issues that they protest. It's becoming very evident that these people don't even care about actual solutions. They don't even care about the issues that they protest, and you could tell that by how quickly they jump from cause to cause. One day it's Tesla, another day it's ICE, and then the next day it's Iran.
If that moron in the White House, Donald Trump, says, yes, I'm going to do it, and if he's allowed to do it, we are going to enter a new era of political instability that will make the last 20 years look like a tea party. Iran, no! Hands off Iran, now!
You're gonna give it right now! You should instead! You should in Israel! You need to go away right now!
They just jump from one issue to the other. There's never any persistence or consistency because the outrage is fake. It's a political performance, an era of weaponized protest that's bankrolled by Democrat-aligned NGOs and activist groups, and of course, the puppet masters who fund it all. And actually, following the money trail, well, it's very quickly becoming a priority for this administration.
The right to assemble and protest peacefully is protected by law. Unfortunately, we've seen individuals whose intentions are to cause damage and to assault law enforcement. For example, last week we arrested an individual who was charged with conspiracy to commit and aiding and abetting civil disorders. These violent agitators put peaceful demonstrators at risk.
The FBI and our federal partners will continue to investigate individuals and organizations who are knowingly funding or committing acts of violence against law enforcement, as well as the destruction of property.
We are currently tracing money to determine who is providing funding for these riots. Funding crime doesn't just affect the criminals, it also disrupts entire communities. Each dollar funneled into illegal operations fuels violence, undermines law and order, and perpetuates fear. Make no mistake, we will identify and disrupt financial networks supporting these criminal activities.
Think before you act. The legal consequences for financing or aiding and abetting these crimes are harsh. They include imprisonment and fines. The United States government will continue to safeguard constitutionally protected rights, but we will not tolerate assaults on law enforcement, destruction of property, or any violent acts that puts the community in harm's way.
It's obvious that what is going on the streets is not organic. It's not a grassroots groundswell of outrage that's based on valid majority concern. It's simply a well-organized, well-funded NGO operation trying to turn every single issue into a massive crisis so they can blame Donald Trump and destabilize the public. That's exactly what they did in 2020, and from the Democrat perspective, they got Joe Biden in office following all that chaos, and so they basically want to repeat the success. They want to do it all over again. Basically, this is the strong arm of the Democrat Party, and the message they're sending is very clear. Enable our agenda or else. Here's a good line that comes to mind that I think describes it perfectly. The Democrat Party that's always lecturing about democracy is basically saying that when we lose at democracy, we riot. That might as well be the official slogan of the modern American left. These people have made it absolutely crystal clear. If they don't get their way at the ballot box, they'll try to use brute force in the streets to get it. They'll torch cities, attack police, harass opponents, and all of this malicious behavior will all be under the banner of activism and protest. And if you have an issue with it, you're un-American. You're violating our constitutional rights. Absolute farce. I mean, clearly, democracy is fine with the Democrats as long as they win. But then the moment they lose, I guess all bets are off. Suddenly, rioting becomes righteous. Violence becomes mostly peaceful. Criminality becomes social justice. Folks, what we are seeing is radicalism being bred. And that's really the real danger here. It's not just that the left riots, it's that they believe they're morally entitled to, that they're the good guys no matter how much destruction they cause, and that they're right no matter how much the American people aren't with their stupid ideas. And what they're teaching the next generation is just this twisted vision of how a civilized society is supposed to operate. They're teaching the next generation that losing an election, losing in the debate, losing in the ideas essentially justifies burning down the entire country. Throw a tantrum if you don't get what you want. If the courts don't side with you, take it to the streets. If the American people vote the other way, well then harass and intimidate them and burn things down until you get what you want. I don't know about you guys, but that's not democracy. That's an unhinged radical mob. It's basically third world thug politics. And this mentality of entitlement has essentially infected the American left from top to bottom. And this is the warning: do not ever let the media gaslight you. This is not some organic grassroots movement. This is a professional activist racket that is specifically designed to sow chaos every time the Democrats start to lose their grip of the narrative. They clearly know they're unpopular. They know that Trump is rising in the polls, and they just can't handle it. And so they're spending all of this dark money, and probably a whole lot of USA funds that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris funneled into offshore accounts to continuously fund all of this chaos moving into 2026 and moving into 2028, all in an effort to make it seem as if the people are turning against Donald Trump when that very clearly isn't happening. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.